Good morning, and thank you so much, Dr. Vickel Darby, for joining us and agreeing to do this interview on Skillful Teaching with Dr. Angela. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I am doing well. How are you today?
I am doing great. Thank you. This is an awesome interview. I know this is a treat and great information we are about to hear on the teacher side hustle. You have one of the best side hustles as an educator that I absolutely love because I love to read and I love to see authors and especially teachers putting out their voice and sharing that. So we are just in for a treat today. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Dr. Darby.
Well, I am Vickel Darby. Well, Dr. Vickel Darby. I'm a native of Orangeburg, South Carolina, born and raised, and currently still here. I am a mother of a college golfer. He plays golf at Johnson C. Smith University. I have two siblings, and I have, an influx of nephews and one niece. I am an educator of 20 years. For the last 8 years, I have been in instructional technology on the district level. So I've taught second, third, fourth grade, and fourth grade single gender all girls. So now I am the CEO and owner of V. Miranda Consulting, where I do a lot of consulting in instructional technology, and this where my books fall under. I am the author of 2 children's books.
Awesome. That is so great. So I had the pleasure of reading those books and getting those actually for who I love to call my bonus kids. So I'm very excited to hear more about this authoring and book writing and publishing process. So tell us a little bit about how did you get started with this side hustle?
Very easy. I started with my cell phone. I was just thinking one day, a story came to my head, and then my son made a joke like, "Mama, well, you should write a story about me." And I literally took that and ran with it. So I would just jot things down in my notes. And one day I was in the restroom and I was doing something to my hair. And I said, well, I'm going to write about my son, Christian, and his journey to golf, because it is really a true story how he gave up football, baseball, the favorite sports to divulge in golf. So it began from there. I have an influx of notes of different stories that just come in my head. Sometimes a thought will come to me when I'm in the gym, and then I'll stop and I'll go in my phone and put it in my notes. So all of my rough drafts and my notes are in my phone.
Wow, that's amazing. So what I hear you saying is that, any educator really could author a book because it sounds like you're getting ideas from your personal experiences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It popped in my head and I was like, hey, it's something I can do. Then I started researching the process. And so I decided to utilize social media, and I have a high school classmate of mine who is a national best-selling author. And so I reached out to her and I shared with her, my vision and what I wanted to do. And immediately she called me and said, this is what you need to do, ABCDEFG. And she was just so excited. And she's like, now I'm going to tell you, do not become overwhelmed with the prices, because there are more than one way to go around the ship. And I just was tickled pink. And she started introducing me to various social media groups with first-time authors who were writing. And it was very encouraging to see that there were people like me, who aspire to be an author and want to get started. So I really enjoyed the process in finding out about the various resources that you can use to enhance your publishing of your book.
Wow, that's great. And to have that network team, as educators, I'm always talking about expand our professional network, increase our professional network, right? So that sounds great to have a team of folks that are like-minded, have the same goals so that you can reach out to. So
Yeah.
you mentioned resources. Tell us a little bit about some of the resources that we could utilize if someone is interested in authoring a book or being a writer as a side hustle.
Absolutely. One of the first things that she had me to review was the process on Amazon with the children's Kindle and the ebook format. She said, you need to read to see how you can make money, how you can upload your book, because a lot of people do not realize that uploading your book to Amazon as an ebook is oftentimes free. And so, yes, so you upload. The pricey part is when you have to format your writing into an ebook format. And so once you format it to an ebook, you just simply upload it with your cover and you set the price that you want to sell it for. So a lot of people have been opting to do the ebook. I wanted the hard copy, but the resources that they provide, like going to the United States Congress of Library, because when you're thinking of a title, you want to make sure that title has not been purchased. A lot of people have common titles, and that's because the title is not purchased. But if you want your book to be recognized in the United States Congress, you have to order your title. You have to pay for your title of your book so that you'll be entitled to your rights.
That's good information because
Yeah,
some people may not even realize that.
absolutely. And if you
Wow.
notice when you go inside your book, it'll say published by, all rights reserved, and if it say the Library of Congress control number, when you pay for your title, you will be receiving a control number that says, hey, this is Dr. Angela McCord's book title, and it was registered with the Library of Congress Library by the number ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, don't get me excited now. I'll need to be working on my book.
Are we speaking in existence because it's coming?
All right. Tell us maybe if you had 3 tips for teachers or educators who may want to get started in this process. What might 3 points of advice be that you would give them?
To write. One of the best advice that I was given by my high school classmate, she said, stop trying to make it perfect. Write everything that's in your head, pour it out. And when you think you had enough of writing, then you go back and edit. The second thing is, once you have finished writing and have it put in order, look for someone that specializes in your area. She encouraged me to find someone that has been a very good editor in children book literature. And so she suggested, hey, go on campus to a professor or to a retired educator or a retired English literature professor, which was very well received for me, and allow them to look over your book and edit it, because they're thinking in the format of how children literature should be displayed and read too. The third thing is, do not stress about doing the contents of the illustrations. Many people become overwhelmed, but you already have a vision. Make sure you speak it clearly. With my Golf It Is, I decided to use a college student to do my illustrations. Why? They're in college, they need money. So you always want to reach out to your local university. Go to the art department. You will be very surprised at how they will jump on an opportunity to make money.
That's a great idea.
Mhm.
I was actually speaking to another colleague, and she said that she worked with the art teacher at her school.
Yes.
So resources right there in front of us.
And it's not as expensive as people think, because some people will pay $1,000 just for 10 illustrations for a 50-page book. So you have to be creative and be receptive to their time. So you want to have a good plan of action, because your timeline has to be flexible. It's not going to always begin and end at the same time. You're going to have some delays, because when you receive your illustrations, it might not reflect the vision that you're foreseeing. So they're going to have to go back and revisit and try it again. My classmates shared with me a powerful resource called Fiverr. And in Fiverr, it's an influx of independent entrepreneurs who are utilizing their talents in that software to make graphics, to format your book, and it's very inexpensive. The only suggestion is make sure you read their stars, because you want to select the right person. And it's from people from all over the world. With my Let Me Find Out, this young lady who happens to be a college student, she put her information under Fiverr, but she lived in another state or another time zone. But I was okay with that because I think this was out of California. And I was okay with that because our communication was back and forth. And again, she knew my vision, she knew what I wanted, and it was perfect. There are professionals who in there who focus on just doing your cover page for you. You have professionals who know how to format a book by the national publishing rights. You have those who format for ebooks only. The wealth of information on that site is amazing.
Wow, that is great. Thank you so much for sharing that resource.
Oh, more.
That is out of sight. So are there any other little technology sites or anything like that that you might recommend?
Always reflect or go back to Amazon Kindle and select children publishing rights. You can also Google children book authors. There's a list of a directory of children books authors that are local, that are, I like to say, very published. And then there are your common authors, and because they have
not for long, not for long,
not for long, but there are a lot of resources on those sites. You know,
Okay.
if you're a first-time children's book author, you'll see a list, an influx of everything to how you choose your publishing company. Like the publishing company that I selected specializes in children's books, you know, and you want to make sure that the publishing company that you are selecting is one that's reputable. You know, you want to make sure that they are really doing things. You don't want to, because there are some slick publishing companies looking to make $1, but then they don't produce your book. So you want to make sure they're nationally recognized as well.
Okay, great. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Darby. This was absolutely wonderful information. And I think that any educators watching who might be interested in, writing, or there may be some folks that have been writing on a daily basis anyway and decide to, hey, I'm going to turn this into a book and publish it. So that is great. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Welcome.
Because like I like to say, sharing is caring in education.
Absolutely.
And the more we know and share with each other, it makes our field flourish, right?
Absolutely. And the better we grow well together.
Absolutely. That's the key, is growth, because
Yes.
we know quality teaching is quality education.